Department of Education at Baylor University is exempt from protecting LGBTQ students from faith-based harassment. And the elephant is pointing out it's a Sonic onesie.
Sanic onesie.
Sanic.
Should probably
satanic onesie.
I need to take. There we go.
So yeah, this is the Baylor University, Christian University, but they are in the middle of a lawsuit with a student who is being discriminated against for being queer, and being harassed for being queer. And in the middle of this lawsuit, they do a separate thing where they petition the government to be like, hey, can we have an exemption from protecting our students against sexual harassment because it's against our religious beliefs to protect them from that?
And they've actually managed to get it?
Yeah.
I have a question, Rhino. Is it ethical to egg a school?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
Well, no, because it's not the janitor's fault that they're being dicks like this. You know, it's going to fall to them to clean it up.
I know
the people that are actually doing shit like that are not the ones. They're never
the ones that actually deal with anything like that.
Yeah. So as satisfying as that would be, that would not actually solve any issues.
Jesus Christ, that bugs the crap out of me though, because you basically get to say, hey, if one of our kids in our school that it's a private school, so one of our kids that pays to be at the school, that paid to be there, suffers as a result of being here, not only can we not do anything about it, but we won't do anything about it, and we're gonna go as far as to ask the government to give us a special ticket that says we don't have to do anything about it.
Yeah.
For even longer. So the kid literally just has no recourse but to sit there and deal with it.
Yep. So yeah, this is the first school to receive an exemption that will allow it to keep receiving taxpayer dollars even if it's allowing certain kinds of anti-LGBTQ harassment. Now, this is not discrimination, this is harassment. Discrimination's in there too. Narabda puts gifted won the watering hole membership. YouTube does gifting now?
Wait, YouTube has gifted memberships now?
Apparently YouTube has gifted memberships now.
Oh.
Welcome, John73 John.
They're trying everything in their power to catch up to Twitch. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And it might be working.
My Stream Elements bot is also having technical difficulties as it's repeating itself about John being a member.
Yeah, because it's well, I think the Stream Elements bot hasn't been updated to deal with, if that's a very new thing, then the Stream Elements bot is probably not programmed to deal with what it's reading as a redundancy.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, I might have just deleted someone's message. Oh.
And Twitch does super chats now in form of hype chat. So YouTube and Twitch are slowly becoming the same platform. Got it.
So apparently when you gift a membership, it goes to a random person in the audience?
Yeah, that's one of the ways gifting works on Twitch.
And then Evelyn Valewinter, I'm sorry, I accidentally deleted your message. It said, I think people have to agree to being gifted memberships first. Which I don't know what that means yet. And YouTube's been doing this weird thing recently where, like, when I click on the chat to highlight the message, Species is the bot pulling a hey listen. I didn't even see that reference when I clicked on it. I just clicked randomly, which could have ended badly, but it didn't. Because that's a good reference. I like that. But now, like, when I click on something to highlight it on my stream, it behaves as though I right-clicked it, even though it's a left click. And it's frustrating as fuck because I always get the context menu popping up and then I accidentally do things like delete people's messages for no reason.
But you had a reason for messaging for deleting their message though. The skill issue.
No, it was okay, shut up. Why do I let you on my stream?
So it's gonna sound terrible when I say it this way, but the real reason is convenience.
I mean, you're not entirely wrong.
Like, that's not an inaccurate way of wording it.
There is more to it than that. But yes, because it works and I don't have to schedule a guest every week. Okay. All right. Look, I've got members now. They're like chatting away. Use your emojis.
Use them so everybody else gets jealous.
Use the tech one so you can Anyway, so this began when Veronica Bonifacio Penales, I assume that's pronounced Penales or something like that, filed a lawsuit against Baylor. And in the lawsuit, it called on the government to end its complicity in the abuses and unsafe conditions thousands of LGBTQ plus students endure at hundreds of taxpayer-funded religious colleges and universities.
I'm just going to go ahead and say right now there should not be any taxpayer funding or subsidies of any kind for private schools, religious or otherwise.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And the public ones should be free.
The good news is the public ones are up until if you discount pre-K and you discount college, at least those ones are free in America for now. There are a lot of Republicans who are trying to change that one at the very least, or who are trying to get an abolishment. I've seen some that have been trying to argue for like abolishment of public education in favor of only private.
Apparently, the person who I accidentally deleted the message, apparently I put them in a timeout too. They're in my Discord being like, I'm in a timeout just for trying to explain how to have GIFs. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not inept. I'm not inept. I'm not inept.
You're not inept?
Back to the article. So people are like leaving Bibles outside her dorm room with the, stone the gays to death passages highlighted with notes reading, I'm praying for you, and notes calling them slurs, stuff like that. You know, the kinds of things that the school should take action against.
And the school is basically doing everything in their power to say, no, that's not our problem. We don't have to do anything about that. Like, wait, hold, see, so it's not your job as, let's go ahead and call them what they are here, landlords. You're the landlord for a rented room, right? Ignoring the school part of ignoring all that. You're the landlord for a rented room. And your argument is that it is not your job to provide a safe environment for a tenant.
Yeah.
That's
their argument.
That's stupid. That would be stupid.
The tenant has slightly different religious beliefs than me. Like, slightly different, because keep in mind, this is a private Christian college. Like, if you are going to a private Christian college university, you have put effort into going specifically to a Christian one.
Yeah. So,
like, it's not like there's a huge difference of religion. It's just a minor difference on the acceptability. Well, I mean, what should... Okay, it's a fairly major difference. It shouldn't be a minor difference. It should be a game killer. But, like, this is someone that is the same religion as you and wants to go to your religious institution because they agree with you most things religious-wise, but you're like, no, we're going to allow people to harass you because you disagree with me about whether or not gay people should be allowed to exist.
So this one gets me a lot because I know that the back asswards comment that's going to be made, because when this goes up on at least my channel, I know at least 4 people who are going to say the comment, well, if she didn't want that harassment, she should have just gone to a different school. Like, well, hold on, but you're telling me that it's okay for somebody who is a Christian and pays money to a school to deal with harassment at that school, and the school to then seek a basically get out of jail free coupon that says they don't have to do anything about it. Mm-hmm. You're okay with somebody paying money and then dealing with this shit, and you're okay with somebody who's of the exact same religion, because you can't do the whole, well, she should have just gone to a different school. She didn't want to be harassed by Christians doing what Christians do.
It's not like these are gay atheists being like, let's invade the Christian schools, get harassed, and then complain about it. It's a Christian.
This is a Christian person who just happens to be LGBTQ.
Yeah. Adam Broughton, before I forget to address it, he says, did you hear about the controversy affecting LGBTQ students at schools in New Brunswick? I have not heard about that one. I'll have to look into it. All right. So, yeah. They also wouldn't let her form an LGBTQ club, which that one is a little bit more like, like that's not actually harassment. That's like the school's policy is about what kinds of clubs they're allowed to have. So like that one, it's dickish and petty to not allow the club to be formed, but at least there is, at least it's not like completely, I don't know. I'm trying to defend a bad decision, and it's not going well.
There's a difference between a decision being bad because it's petty and a decision being bad because it is actively assisting harassers.
Yes.
There's a spectrum of dumb bad shit you can do as a school. And on the less harmful end of the spectrum is, we don't want you to organize this club. And on the worst end of the spectrum, there is, fuck you, I hope the death threats catch in at some point.
Yeah, so what Hammond said, basically everything we've just said in the last couple minutes. He says, well, the school can set its own rules in this regard. That doesn't give them, so that with regards to forming clubs, that doesn't give them the right to ignore allegations of harassment. LGBTQ students go to Baylor precisely because they believe there's no contradiction between being LGBTQ and being Christian. That's not an invitation for harassment, though. Yes, yet that's what the lawsuit said was happening. Pinala said she eventually stopped reporting incidents to the school because their response was always that she should go to counseling.
So she needs to go somewhere else so that a counselor can tell her how to cope with this, as opposed to them doing anything about it. Wouldn't it be interesting? Wouldn't it be interesting if, and this is just me as a very escalation theory, self-defense minded person, wouldn't it be funny if she put just a hidden camera on her door, and so she could see the people who are actually doing this, and then just started making those other people feel just as unsafe in however she decided to do it, whatever messages, anything she wanted to leave on the door. How I would be curious to see how the school would respond to that, because if they were to have the special pleading case that no, it's okay for her to get harassed, but it's not okay for the other students to get harassed, that'd be an interesting layer to all of this. Yeah. Not that anybody should ever have to do something like that. No. But just, it is one of those areas my brain goes is how far down the apologetics rabbit hole can we get someone to go before they just admit they're a fucking asshole? Yeah.
So Linda Livingston filed a formal request with the Department of Education for an exemption from the Title IX rules. Remember, Title IX, that's about sexual harassment. With the Department of Education Title IX exemptions, arguing that the complaints against them would force the school to violate its religious beliefs. So protecting its students from harassment would violate their religious beliefs.
Then you need different religious beliefs.
Yes.
But I'm sorry, what
in the complaints they talk about here's the actions that they're asking us to take that would violate our religious beliefs. Number one, the university's alleged decision to Upsilon, that was the it's Gamma Alpha Upsilon was the name of the group that she wanted to start because that spells gay in Greek letters. Mm-hmm. And so okay, fine, they say no to that because that would go against their religion. Stupid choice to make, but whatever.
But if you have a large enough subsection of students in your school that are of your religion that are gay and don't see a problem with that, which one of you is right about it being against the religion? And how do you figure that out?
That's an internal discussion. I don't care. Number three is the university's alleged decision to pressure university media to not report on LGBTQ events and protests in September and October of 2021. Okay, again, I don't see how censoring your media is going to be helpful to you in any way, especially just with regards to, hey, this event happened. But that's your prerogative. Who fucking cares? But number two is the university's alleged response to notice that students were subject to harassment based on their sexual orientation and or gender identity. That's the big one, where it's you're not responding to your students that are being harassed, and you're saying that not protecting your students from harassment is due to your religious beliefs. And if those are your religious beliefs, maybe you shouldn't get special exemptions for breaking legitimate laws and trying to protect your students for that.
Well, because there's already precedent for holding schools accountable for trying to protect their students in dorms. especially since there are a lot of colleges in America that have the rule of like the first year you're in college, you have to be in the dorms which is, I think, is a stupid rule, but there are some that have it. So you have to have those protections in place. If we're going to make you be here, or even if you're not forced to be here, if you pay money to be here, it needs to be a safer place. It's stupid to be like, hey, we want to be held to all of the same standards as an education provider, but at the same time, we would like to be exempt from fulfilling our side of the fucking deal.
Well, I mean, from their I think this is from their petition to the DOE. It says, for the above reasons, the university requests assurance of its exemption from the following regulatory provisions to the extent that they are inconsistent with the university's religious tenets. Number 34 is, or no, sorry, that's just the how you find it in the big old book of legal codes, is sexual harassment. And they've got a footnote there. Specifically, the university requests assurance that the belief in or practice of its religious tenets by the university or its students would not constitute unwelcome conduct under the department's definition of sexual harassment under Title IX. So basically what I'm getting from that is their argument is, if you're going to be LGBTQ and come to our university, we're using the "you were asking for it" defense should you get harassed.
Of course they were asking for it. Look at what gender they were wearing. Wait, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, and notably, this is Joe Biden's DOE. So, like, I mean, we all know that this election is going to come down to Trump or Biden, and absolutely Biden over Trump, 100%. But, like, come on, man. He's supposed to be more progressive than that. Like, he's the one that he campaigned on, like, standing with trans people.
The most he has done, honestly, was lifting the trans ban in the military. Like, I know there's some other things that he's done, but that's the biggest thing.
He has a much better track record than the people who are like, oh, you know, I'll vote for Biden if I have to, but I really don't want. Like, the people that are like really down on him ignore a lot of the actual good stuff that he's done, because he does have a lot under his belt. But he's also like, this is his DOE. He should have appointed better people that wouldn't make decisions like this. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
I never had the opportunity to go to college. But I imagine if I were in a similar situation to this, I don't honestly know what I would do outside of like beginning to resort to purely retaliatory things. Because if the people who are supposed to protect you have basically told you, nope, hands off, this is your problem to solve.
So, yeah, just to finish off the article, Baylor University also has huge issues with their football team raping people. So, like, in 2017, there was a lawsuit against the school that alleged that members of the football team committed 52 acts of rape between 2011 and 2014. That lawsuit was settled out of court, which to me says that there was good evidence that it happened, and they were doing a payoff to not have to fess up to it. That's what that says to me. Like, that might not actually be the case.
That is disturbing.
52 acts of rape in, was that 3 years?
That means that every single month they had between 1 and 2 cases. Every single month.
Yes. And like, this is the school that's now saying, hey, can we have legal exemptions from protecting our students against sexual harassment? Like,
no.
How about you look at that track record and be like, no, you guys have a terrible track record with sexual harassment. We need to, like, the government at this point has a vested interest in protecting its own citizens. Lord of Us Collect says 1 rape every 3 weeks on average.
Yeah, basically. That is a, if you are a member of the staff at this school, after something like this, you should probably be ashamed of the establishment that signs your paycheck.
Yeah, absolutely.